What's up, guys? How have you guys been doing? Today, no life advice today. I want to talk about Modern Warfare 3. Yeah, I think it was a good Call of Duty game. Maybe that'll get me crucified in the comment section. What you're going to be watching today is some good gameplay. I get like a 2KD. It's super active. It's a long one, strap in. That's what she said. But yeah, I want to talk about some of the positives about Modern Warfare 3 that I liked in this past year. Now that this year is rounding out and that Black Ops 6 is like right around the corner, I want to talk about why I liked it. And it had a lot of good things going for it that I think we're like sleeping on, that I think that a lot of the community is just going to be like, oh, shoot, yeah, that was good last year. And we're going to realize real quick, like, oh, like this game doesn't look as good. This game doesn't sound as good as Modern Warfare 3, because that was actually a quality game. You're going to have to forgive me if I stop every now and then in this video. I feel like I caught a cold or something. Like I have a nasty cough sometimes. So yeah, I'll be taking some breaks here and there. I'm going to try to edit it out, but yeah, let's talk about it. First off, like I said, Modern Warfare 3, it looks and sounds really high quality. Like it sounds and looks like a professional Call of Duty game. It doesn't seem like a toy car engine. It doesn't seem like it was made in someone's basement, right? Like it seems like a fun, like fast paced, but like also like looks good, like graphic fidelity, doesn't seem to like crash graphically or, bugs and glitches kind of thing very often. I guess what I'm trying to say is like it feels more flushed out than other Call of Duty games, especially something like Cold War in the past. I think that we're really taking like the sound engine for granted. I think we're taking a lot of things for granted here. It has so much potential, and it did have so much potential, and it's still good. I think when we come back next year, when we just stick a Black Ops 6, we're not going to come back and be like, oh, we got to play this. This was a good Call of Duty game. And again, this might get me crucified in the comment section. I know it's like the COD cycle to just hate on the current Call of Duty game, but I don't think it's that bad. Like, I think you could easily argue like, yeah, maybe it's a little boring at times. And yeah, maybe I can see that, but it's not that bad. It has so much fun factor. It has so much content. That's the next thing. Right? DLC wise, it has so many maps. And you could say like, oh, it's because it started with no new maps, right? No original maps. Well, maybe that's the case, but I don't mind the Modern Warfare 2 maps. Like, yeah, Favela kind of sucks and Estate and, things like that. They're not the best maps, right? Like, but at the same time, they're not like a bunch of unplayable maps, right? Like High Rise is really fun, like Rust and Scrapyard and stuff like that. Like we have a lot of good maps as well, not to mention all the DLC maps that we had. I feel like every single DLC package this year was pretty good. They didn't introduce like a lot of garbage maps. Like look at this map right now. Bait was actually a pretty good map as well, right? Like they didn't do bad when it comes to it. Like design wise, Sledgehammer Games maps are not terrible anymore. I think there was a time period where it was really just a coin flip. It kind of still is, just with Call of Duty maps in general these days. But it's less and less of a coin flip, and I'm starting to trust that they know how to make decent maps now. Versus like in the past, it was really hit or miss. And unfortunately, Infinity Ward, it still mostly misses. Not just the maps that came out that were really good, but like a lot of the weaponry was fun. You see that I'm also using a DLC weapon here in this game. I think it's called the Static something. Not every single gun that comes out is like a hit. It's a banger, but they're all playable. They're all fun. They all incentivize you to do something different in the game rather than just using the MCW like every 5 seconds or whatever is the hot gun these days. I don't even really play anymore, but it incentivizes you to keep going, to try to keep playing. They did a better job this year of trying to get you to continuously play rather than just getting burnt out by like December than a Call of Duty game has done in a long time. I remember when Cold War came out, Modern Warfare 2, Vanguard, like I was pretty much bored by like February. I was on ranked play or I was on another title. This year, kind of the same thing, although every time they dropped DLC, I would play the game a good amount again. I would try to level up the gun. I would try to understand the new maps, and they incentivized me to keep playing much better than other games. Maybe it's because I like the maps. Maybe it's because I like how the game feels to me. I think just movement wise and everything, like, yeah, coming from Black Ops 6, it might feel a little slow, but coming from Modern Warfare 2, 2022, this game feels like I'm on steroids, okay? Like it's much, much better. Much more of the fun factor was like instilled in this game than its predecessor, Modern Warfare 2 2022. Let's also talk about the gunsmith. It's not a new feature, obviously, but it feels so much better than its predecessors as well. Like I think they just nailed so many things that were just like bad in previous games. And that doesn't necessarily mean that this game is like amazing, but it means that they at least listened to criticism and tried to change it, rather than Infinity Ward, who kind of plugs their fingers in their ears and sings la 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 whenever we want, anything different. Like, oh, the spawn needs to change, or the ricochet needs to change, or, whatever. Infinity Ward pretty much just does whatever and then makes a map that sucks and then it's like, shut up. That doesn't really help, At least Sledgehammer Games, it feels like they're trying to help when it comes to like, oh, hey, you want like a more rushed or like a more fast-paced environment? Like, okay, here we go. Let's try this. Let's see if you like it. Maybe it has something to do with like Call of Duty having its back against the wall this year, right? Like they have a lot of competition with X-Defiant, and I think there's like a Battlefield coming out, and of course like Valorant and CSGO and all this stuff. Apex, Fortnite. Maybe they have more competition and they feel it, especially with X-Defiant this year, because that was supposed to be the COD killer. Unfortunately, it's not really close, but to be honest, COD's kind of killing itself. But yeah, when it comes to kind of this game, I think it really made you want to play this game a lot. It really made you want to care about this game and continue playing it. I'm not talking about like the campaign or whatever. I never really cared about that. I'm talking more so about the camo grind. This is yet another thing that Modern Warfare 3 and Vanguard did terribly, or Modern Warfare 2, sorry. Modern Warfare 2 and Vanguard did terribly, that Modern Warfare 3 here did well. And we can't excuse that. We can't just say, oh, well, it's supposed to be like that. No, I mean, like, it's subjective, and they chose to listen to us this year, right? They could have easily made it again, get 5,000 long shots with an SMG and get 25 point blanks with an LMG, stuff that just made no sense at all. No, they actually understood like, hey, for people who are playing this game, it feels like the developers like played this game. That's the way I'll put it. It feels like they kept the player in mind this year. It feels like, hey, if I was a new player, if I was a returning player, what would I want to do for a camo grind? Like what would make sense to me? And for the most part, a lot of the challenges made sense. Sometimes it was like sliding kills while like blinding an enemy, like, okay, yeah, that like, okay, what kind of dartboard did you throw a pin at that for to unlock that challenge, or to think of that challenge? Or what AI system did you use to like say, oh, give me ideas for Call of Duty unlock challenges? Yeah, maybe that was, not the best or not the smartest, but largely their stuff makes sense now. And I don't think we can dismiss that. I think that matters. And especially to me as a camo grinder for the past couple of years, I skipped Vanguard. It just made no sense. It was notoriously stupid. I think I did Modern Warfare 2 2022. It was kind of stupid as well, mainly because the game was dumb and pretty awful, honestly. I think Modern Warfare 2 is probably the worst Call of Duty game. Modern Warfare 2 2022, I think it's worse than Ghost. I think it's the worst Call of Duty game. I have not gone back to that game since Modern Warfare 3 came out. And that's a crazy, crazy statement, because I even went back to Modern Warfare 2019. But that game is an easy skip. I've had no reason, no incentive to go back to that game. So anyway, not trashing that game enough. This game incentivized movement. Like, look at how fast paced I'm moving in this game. Like, I am just tearing through enemies. There's the dolphin dive, there's the slide, there's mounting and stuff, but like it incentivized movement. And I know you're gonna say like, oh, Black Ops 6 is gonna incentivize way more movement. I'm not saying Black Ops 6 is gonna be a bad game, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that this game had so much potential and lived up to like 95% of it. This game easily, Modern Warfare 3 could have been like a stupid clone of Modern Warfare 2, where they're just like, oh, it's the same game, but we're just gonna, have the Modern Warfare 2 maps, like, oh, nostalgia hit, buy our game. They could have easily done that. They could have easily been lazy with the challenges. They could have been easy. Like, that's another thing. Like, the armory unlock, kind of a stupid idea, but I know what they're trying to do there. It's a stupid idea in the beginning, but after a while, it makes sense. I think that they should have like started us off a little bit better. Maybe they can, find find a way to tweak that going forward. But I think like it wasn't the worst call ever. I think that the challenges, especially at the weekly calling card challenges and camo challenges, like that was smart. And I had like, honestly, if I enjoyed the game a little bit more, if I had more time during the school year, not school year, but like work year, whatever, maybe I would have actually like done a lot of those challenges and like played this game even more than I did. I think that this game did still miss prestige system, and that was a huge incentive as to why I was de-incentivized to play this game. But it has so many other things going for it. I think the camos look great. And of course, like I said, they're worth going for. Game itself obviously looks good, high quality, good sound engine. You know, we're going to miss that when Treyarch is, you know, footsteps audio is going to be all bugged up. Gunsmith made sense. I still wish, you know, it kind of went the Treyarch style right now where it's just like there's no negatives. I don't like that there's negatives when you have to create and, you know, classify a class. Get it? Oh, there's supposed to be trade-offs, supposed to be a decision making when it comes to the class. Otherwise, you just make the same thing. I don't really care. You know, it's Call of Duty. It's not Battlefield. It's like quick 5-second games and then you're out. Like I'm not trying to build like a super accurate machine gun to mow down enemies. I don't really care about that stuff. Okay, if you care about stuff, go play another game. Call of Duty, just run and gun, turn your blind off, and just shoot people. And better gun skill wins. You know, that's why I don't even mind ranked play necessarily. Even though it's like, oh, it's the same gun, same maps. I don't mind that necessarily. Like I'm kind of out of my element. I'm a little out of my prime right now to play ranked play because I'm kind of suck now. But I didn't mind it, and I didn't think it was like that boring, even though I know a lot of my friends found it boring. And like I said, the last thing is the DLC content. They had so much good stuff here. Again, the microtransactions still charge you an arm and a leg, which is ridiculous considering the game was like $70 that dropped, like when it dropped. But, you know, what are you going to do about that? They don't really control that. I think that this game had a lot of potential and lived up to most of it. And I would recommend this game. I think it's a little too late now because this game's probably going to die in like 1 or 2 years. But I would have recommended this game, and I still kind of do. Maybe if you go back to my older videos, maybe it seems like I didn't or I wouldn't recommend. But coming out at the end of the year, like as a retrospective, this game had a lot of potential that lived up to it. And I think it's good. Yeah, it's good. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Feel free to leave a like and subscribe if you're new. And yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. Peace out.